Welcome to Loosely Art Related, episode 15. I wanted to talk about Tracey Emin's show, A Second Life, sort of a retrospective covering the last 40 years of her career. I went to go see it with my sister. My sister, through her work, managed to get late night tickets, like a corporate event sort of thing. So going to the Tate that late is pretty nice. Although it was freezing when we went. And there are loads of runners on the Thames as well. That I didn't expect. And also on that side of the Thames where the Tate is, there's just a block of flats. Imagine living there. And they're just regular flats. You could see through a window and it was just curtains and someone's bedroom or something. But yeah, I met my sister there. We went to go see the show. The show was nice. It was very easy. It was which it would be looking back on her career. My favorite piece in it was It's Not the Way I Want to Die, which is a sculptural piece, kind of like a roller coaster, made of wood and metal. And yeah, it's been inspired by Margate's Dreamland, which is an outdoor theme park in Margate, which came to my attention when Gorillaz performed their album there, probably in 2015, maybe 2016. They did a gig there, and I think it's shut down now. I think Dreamland doesn't exist. The reason why it was my favorite piece in there was it's not something I'd ever, and this might just be ignorance from me, but it's not something I expected her to make. And it was displayed well. I think it was in between some other of her pieces in a room, but it sort of dominated the room, and also the size of it. It was really big. I would say it was probably 5 meters one way and 3 meters the other way. So it took up a big space of the room, and you could walk around it. And I believe maybe it came in from the wall. So it did a horseshoe shape, going from a wall, I think, going up and then coming down, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember too much, but yeah, it was just nice. You could look through it and see the other people in the exhibition. It was kind of present, but it was above you and around you, and did look delicate, and was sort of put together quite loosely, and that in itself is something I like a construction of a piece. A construction of a piece where it feels like the idea is what's running it, and you're building the piece. You don't necessarily know how to, but an artist builds a work or a sculpture. It's not perfect, but it's how they want it and how they imagine it, and how it also comes together. There's an element of coincidence in there, and happy mistakes sort of. But yeah, that was my favorite piece. There was a video of her dancing to some music, which I didn't really understand why. It was sort of that was where it was a bit too much, I thought. I don't know what the video was called, but it was a big projection. It was just her dancing, and it had this kind of trancey music over the top of it. And I thought that was a bit much. But apart from that, the exhibition was really cool. There was a long corridor of her focusing on her when she was younger. There were some naked photos of her, and also the photos of her now with her she has a stoma. Apparently people are feeling quite queasy walking through that corridor. It is quite graphic. But I follow her on Instagram. She posts a lot about stoma, and I kind of respect that. I feel it's first of all, she posts very graphic photos of it, so you see what a stoma looks like, and it's just this red bit on your stomach. I think it's when she had cancer. If you I don't know, it's something to do with your bowels, your stoma. So yeah, I think the exhibition did well at going through her career and some of her highlights, and because I remember seeing the bed that she did in Margate's I think Turner Contemporary, and I like it. I think it was placed next to like works by Turner, and I think it complemented those works pretty well, and acted as like a point of where art's gone to really. So in this exhibition in A Second Life, she has her bed, but she's put it in a sort of self-contained room that has a little window in it. You can like put your head in and you see like all her paintings around, or like it's sort of it's like a studio space with her bed in the corner. So she's kind of expanded on that idea of being very vulnerable in that space. But I enjoyed the exhibition. I think it's a good exhibition. I think you should go and see it if you have the chance. It's definitely a good overview of her career, and probably quite like, imagine being an artist and then you've spent 40 years doing it. I hope it's 40 years. If I'm getting this wrong and it's 30 years the whole time, I mean 40 years, you would think like if she's like she must be 60 something. So you started when she was 20, yeah. It should be 40 years, hopefully. But yeah, imagine getting to a point where all your life's work is in, or what's considered good for the exhibition is in there through different periods, like what represents a certain period for you is in that exhibition. It must be quite a thing to go and see and be celebrated for. There were some of her like neon works in there as well. So yeah, you should go and see it. That day when I went with my sister, we went to which is where I saw a lot of the runners on the Thames. Like, there was kind of this bar, and we had like chips looking out at the scenery of, I believe, like, were we looking at Canary Wharf there? No, I think we were looking at like the building that's called the Walkie Talkie. But at that side of London is like a side of London I never really go to. Like, I felt like I was on holiday. I was sort of seeing the city as a tourist, and being by the Thames like that late at night was pretty nice, because it was dark, certainly, so this was probably like around 9 o'clock we finished, and we were having chips, and my sister was buying me some drinks, which was quite nice. And I remember like needing to charge my phone. I went to the bar, and they were just like, no, sorry, you can't charge your phone here. Which I know is probably a policy at some places. It's annoying when everyone asks, but it's really like disheartening when you get rejected to have your phone charged. But yeah, that was on the way back. I got the National Rail from Blackfriars I wanted to get it to Finsbury Park and then get the Piccadilly line back to Wood Green, but then like as I looked up from my phone, the doors at Finsbury Park were closing, and I looked at my phone like what the next stop was, and it was Stevenage. So it was an extra 20 minutes to the next stop was 20 minutes. So I had to go to Stevenage, wait for the next train back, which took another like 35 minutes. It was like overall like an hour and 10 minute extra that I just, because I missed my stop. It's crazy how like where I'm at now, I'm in Shepherd's Bush, and this is such a peaceful area. Whereas I mean, you might be able to hear the siren in the background, but I'm next to the train station. I'm next to a train line, actually. Just as I say that, like someone started like sawing something outside. But yeah, you go on the main road, there's loads, it's like really busy out there, and then you come into this little bit and it's really peaceful. But yeah, saying that, someone started up. What even is that? That's not even a saw. That sounds like an electronic sound. An electronic saw. You know when you're a child and you're like playing in a football match, and you see this guy just there's a guy like watching the match in like trackies or something. You feel like he's a scout, and you play like extra well because of that. I feel like I had that recently when I was at the park and I was doing like keepy uppies, and there was this guy like watching me for ages, for like 20 minutes. I could see him in the corner of my eye, just literally standing there and staring at me, and like but I had my headphones on, so I was just kind of ignoring him. And I took my headphones off, and I realized he's shouting down the phone at someone. He's just in an argument. He kept saying the police. He kept saying like, "Who are you, the police?" to this guy. And yeah, he was probably using me as like an anchor point for his eyes, but his brain was not present on me. It was on the call. Like something was aggravating him. and I thought he was like watching me the whole time. Which I actually like the idea of doing keep you up is like, because I can do quite a few, and like I was hitting it up and then like hitting it up quite high and then trying to like keep going, like when the ball came down, like just hit it perfectly and like try and get better at doing that. And like a bit like those, like you see the Brazilian guys like on the beach like doing keepy uppies. I want to kind of be that good, like I could be able to just look effortless doing it. And yeah, if you've listened to the other ones, I've hurt my knee, so I can't do running, so that's why I'm like keeping up it. And then I'll go to the outdoor gym. But I speak about the outdoor gym like way too much. I always call it the outdoor gym because I don't want to go to the gym. Like I don't want people to think I'm going to a gym. I feel like gyms are so boring. They're too. There is no fun to be had in a gym. I feel like if you have fun in a gym, you get kicked out. One time I went, my friend at school moved to New York, and me and a friend went out to visit him. And it was around the time like we were around 15, and he was getting into the gym, and like there were some people in school that were like getting into gymming. And there was always that rumor of like it would stunt your growth. So these people have ended up like really short. But yeah, we went to this gym and there was like one of those exercise balls, and I started kicking it about. And the guy that was working there like came around the corner and he shouted at us so bad. Like he was just like, if you're going to keep doing that, get out. And I remember feeling like so embarrassed about, I don't know, like he came around the corner. It was just like so aggressive. And then I just stopped. I was just like, oh, okay, won't be doing that then. Just have to like lie on this table and do sets, just raising my arms up and down. But there's something quite nice about an outdoor gym. There's always this like, I've seen them a few times. There's like this couple, like these school kids that are probably just like escaping home, and they just hang around and they like talk to each other. So I feel like I'm sort of third wheeling. But it has to be done. Like I need to do my thing. I'm looking for, so come to the studio like after work. It's like an hour away from where I live. So I have to try and get dinner outside of home without like spending too much money. Now, what's probably the cheapest food choice is like fried chicken, like a fried chicken burger and chips. It's like £6 at like Morley's or something, but that's too unhealthy. I can't be having that all the time. And then you have the meal deal option, which is also like insanely unhealthy. But then that's cheap. But if I'm looking for a good meal, that'll be like £12, which I can't be spending every day. So today I went to Sainsbury's. I got like the plain grilled chicken in a packet for like £3.50, and then I had some prosciutto, and then I just wrapped up the chicken in like prosciutto, and then was eating that with a Pepsi. I think it cost me like £7 for that, and I'm still hungry. And it wasn't that good. It was far too salty. On the high street near here, there's like an Ethiopian restaurant that looks quite good. And I've heard like Ethiopian food is really nice, but I'm yet to try it. I hear that it comes on its own plate that you can eat. Like everything comes on like I don't know the right term for what that is. Like a naan or something. And then you can eat different dishes on top of that. But I think I'll try that at some point. But yeah, hopefully it's not too spicy. I can't take too much spice. I can take a bit of spice. In Tortilla, the fast food like Mexican place, I think I can do medium spice. I was trying to do high spice for a while, but that was just like unpleasant. And I realized that I was like, why am I doing this to myself? It's not even nice. I think I upped my tolerance to a certain level, and then I think it just can't go beyond that level. So I'm stuck at a medium, like Nando's level. I get a medium, and then I get the hot sauce, and then I can like control how much hot sauce I put on there. Actually, I'm recording this on the 6th of May, and it's now 8 p.m. And I'm missing the PSG Bayern Munich game, so I think I have like another half an hour of record on this. So maybe I can tune in for the next half an hour. But then I need to focus on like editing this down straight away. I realize that if I edit this straight away, it's like much better. than if I wait and then I procrastinate and then I don't do it. But like, I need to get better at doing everything in one take, because otherwise it's just like way more work for me. Having to editing it like takes so long. Just in time, like you're going through like a 1 hour record to get it down to like whatever the best bits are, because I'm not that good at like, it feels like a broadcasting skill of like continuing to speak and knowing which thought to come next. And like, I have some notes, like very rough notes. Maybe I need to get better at keeping better notes. I saw a guy on the tube today with a Rainforest Cafe merch. I didn't know they were still doing merch. I remember when I was like younger, on like a solo trip to London, me and my friend, he was like, oh, let's go to this really cool restaurant like Rainforest Cafe. And then I went there and it was just like, I think this was like lunchtime, and it was just like children, and it looked so worn down. Like there are like gorillas in the wall that jump out at you, and they were just like moving extra slow, like their batteries had just died. And he was just like, oh, I think I remember it better than this. This same friend, he went to Australia, and he started a GoFundMe basically to just to fund his holiday. And the GoFundMe was like save the kangaroos, and you could give him money to save the kangaroos, but he wasn't even doing any saving kangaroos things. And I'm pretty sure kangaroos don't need saving. Like, I'm pretty sure they're a pest in Australia. I don't think anyone donated to the thing, but he's like a school friend that we reconnected over COVID, and I do really like him. I do plan to meet up with him again. I haven't seen him for a while. I do really want to start filming this on a different camera. Like, I do want to get one of those old camcorders or something. Like, I do have a point and shoot camera. I have it here actually. Let me get it. This is like a Canon Ixus something, and I was planning on shooting it on this, but for some reason, like every 12 minutes, if you're shooting video, every 12 minutes it will like stop and shut down to save battery or something, to save memory, and I don't know how to override that. So I do want one of those like old like video cameras to try and film on it, because it would be quite cool to play around with the visuals on this. And yeah, last time I added in that video of my dog at the end of the last podcast, which I don't think, if you got to the end of that one, I'm not sure many people got to the end of that one, but if you did, it was quite a nice video. I considered starting with that, but then I'm not sure how that would have looked to start a video and see it. I think people would have been confused. So yeah, the Tracey Emin show at the Tate, the one that's called A Second Life, I think you should go and see it. And if you like her work, then it's a very good look back on her career. And yeah, you should go see it. And if you don't like that, if you're a bit like squeamish and you don't like that corridor, then you have to like put on those like horse blinders and like walk straight through it, because I don't think there's any way around that, which is actually quite bad. You have to walk through that to get to the other rooms. And I did go to Rose Wiley at the Royal Academy, which Rose Wiley is one of my favourite painters, so I really like that exhibition. But I think I'll probably talk about it in more detail in the next podcast. So this will be coming out on Monday. So on Friday, I'll talk about the Rose Wiley podcast, and now I have to. So if I don't, that means I've forgotten about this. But I think I will. I should. I need to go to more exhibitions. So if you have any suggestions of like painting exhibitions, then let me know. If there are any like exhibitions that have saved your life or have changed the way you think. I hate when an exhibition is like just everything that it was on the poster. Just like, yes, I've seen the poster and now I've seen the show, and I have no more sense of what this is than that. Like, I remember there was one, I forget the gallery, but there's a gallery in London that has 2 sites. Not a big one, like it's just one room per site, and there was this painter that like it looked good on the poster, but then like it looked exactly the same in person, and it was just 3 paintings of pretty much the same thing, and like that was it. There was nothing more to it than that. But I forget the name of it. It was like all very red. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. This is it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And hopefully I can keep up these 2 episodes a week. I'm trying to keep them down to like 20 minutes. Because I think having too much long form twice a week will be too much. But maybe short 20-minute ones twice a week is enough.